people are shouting, crying, begging for help, and yet you stand silent while this country is torn apart. What good is a crown if it doesn't defend the nation? What good is a king if he will not stand with his people? This land is not theirs to destroy. It belongs to the people, the workers, the mothers, the fathers, the veterans, the builders, the farmers. We carried this island through wars, through hardship, through centuries of struggle, and we will not watch it be handed away by weak men in suits. Your duty is not to them, Charles. It is to us, to Britain, to the very soul of this nation. If you will not rise, if you will not speak, then you will show the people that the crown has become nothing but decoration. So hear us now. Your people demand action. We demand a king who protects his country. Britain is calling, Charles. Answer, or history will remember your silence.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to, depending on what channel you're watching, there is the Unite the Kingdom to Restore Britain, people that might be tuned in, and obviously people from that West Ham channel. Hello to the lovely Blakey in chat. Yeah, tell me about it. Right, so people, this video is nothing to do with West Ham or to do with football. This is because already it feels like Henry Novak's name is already getting swept under the carpet. Now, it is so important that people still have the conversation, that we can't play down what happened. Now, of course, part of the reason, the natural reason that Henry Novak hasn't been as much headlining is because of what happened to that wonderful gentleman, that young man, Stephen, that young fellow with special needs in Belfast, who basically nearly had his head cut off. The guy cut off his nose, this demonic scumbag, illegal Islamist, screaming Allah Akbar yet again. I said at the time, and I keep saying it, that when Blakey, hello Bill, when Blakey sent me through that video, it reminded me of Lee Rigby. And as I said to Blakey on the phone, like, have we learned fucking nothing? But because that happened with Stephen, so in such quick succession after what happened with Henry, young Henry Novak, it kind of, yeah, it's created a distraction. Now, both things are as horrific, and we need to both things deserve to be dealt with, because right now I stand by it, knowing that the Novak family, Mr. and Mrs. Novak, his mum and dad, his lovely sister, knowing that they would have had to go through such a difficult, heart-wrenching conversation. Sorry, people, been a long one today. To decide to put that video out there of their little baby and the way he was taken from them, taken from all of us, they done that so that it would be spoken about, so that hopefully it'd be a deterrent for another Henry Novak, another young white boy or girl, to be brutally and racially discriminated against. Because let's have it right, call a spade a spade. It's now been admitted, even from the Hampshire Police's training module around DEI, Henry was seen, due to his colour, in some way different from the other person because of their colour. That's it. You can break it down whichever way you want to, but that is at the crux of what we witnessed. Is two, and I played the call. If you haven't seen on the last show when I spoke about Henry Novak, we played the phone call from that wanker's family to the police, and you could hear the policeman literally leading him down the point until he coerced him almost into saying, did he say anything racial? Did he say anything racial? And then he called him a P, that word for Pakistanis, which is racist. And then the guy on the phone goes, that's what I needed. Oh no, that's all I needed. All I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. Like the whole thing stunk of racism. Anti-white racism. And thankfully, it's not just white people that are calling out. There's plenty of black people that are calling out as well, saying, what the fuck is going on? What is going on? So before we get on to Edmund, I'll get to your comment in a sec. Congrats, Chris J. Just let you know, my daughter Sam has... there you go. Congratulations, genuinely. Congratulations, Millwall Chris. Congratulations to your wonderful daughter. Thank God she got through it. And you've now got a wonderful grandson that's healthy and it's going to be a West Ham fan. Well done, Chris. That's fantastic. Well done to your little girl. That is absolutely brilliant. I want to play a video. Let me share my screen just so we are still seeing that wonderful young boy's face. Let's play this one first. Make sure it's on screen. Is it on screen? I'll get your comments in a sec.
Henry Novak was a Polish Brit. He had both British and Polish citizenship. He had both British and Polish passports. His family are an example of migrants arriving here and mixing with those who were born here. For a long time in this country, I don't know why this has been memory hold, Polish people were the main targets of anti-migrant hysteria. In fact, one of the main reasons we ended up leaving the European Union was because of the demonizing of immigration from Eastern Europe and specifically Poland. Back in the 2000s, you had a relentless media campaign against Polish people, presented variously as scroungers, as people taking our jobs, but also as murderers and rapists. So, I mean, Henry Novak is someone who comes from a community which was itself demonized. Henry Novak was a Polish Brit.
I'm now going to play this one. Share this tab instead to make sure you got it. You have.
Let's go to the Nowak death and this idea that there's two levels of policing in your country. Henry Nowak left handcuffed. He'd been stabbed. There was that 12-minute message from the Indian people who claimed that he was assaulting them. Is there really a two-level policing in the UK? I can't believe that.
The establishment would like you to think otherwise, but the head of Hampshire Police, which is my local police station, I live near Southampton, said in 2022, being anti-racist, ethical and inclusive is top of our agenda. Now, some people may think, well, actually catching criminals should be top, but it's in the police guidance. The College of Police and states that anti-racism is the top priority. The race action plans, it is there in black and white. And so you had got this terrible case of Henry Novak, a student who was murdered by a Sikh knifeman, but was put in handcuffs. And this news made a sort of news across the world. And again, the police response to it, the half-hearted apology, which is what got protests on the streets outside of Southampton Police Station, then unfortunately went a little bit riotous a little bit later.
Right, so let's bring up this comment. Shout out to Edmund Martin. You say it's not about race, but it is. The English are an ethnic group, not an idea. We have a right to want ethno-cultural integrity in our homeland. Now, my stance on this is really, really clear. When I say it's not about race, I say, for me, I don't see any race as more important, more deserved, more entitled than any other. That being said, like in your follow-up comment here, No amount of sushi and judo will make me Japanese. The same applies to English. If I heard that in Jamaica, Africa, Japan, India, if I heard that there was a group that were white, that were basically saying that we don't like your flag, we don't like your rules, we don't like your Christmas. Yes, we understand that you're inherently, constitutionally a religious country, but we don't like your religion. We want ours in place. Just as I'm now looking at all these Islamists, I'd be looking at those white people and saying, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, who do you think you are to go into someone else's house and start telling the house what rules that they will abide by, what rules they won't abide by, and what of their own rules that we have to now follow? And that has nothing to do, hello, Sonny, that has nothing to do with race. And that has everything to do with Islam. I said, when this Henry Novak thing happened, obviously it was a Sikh wanker who does not represent the Sikh community that committed this just awful, absolutely awful crime. I said at the time, funny enough though, the problem is still Islam. And before anyone thinks it's a stretch or I am just going to Islam and I can prove everything that I'm saying, right? Who is the head of the police commission, for example, for London? Sadiq Khan. What is Sadiq Khan? A Muslim. A Muslim that has just done his Mecca, as well as Hajj, to Mecca. You see him, he shaved all his head off. Do you know that to be a Muslim, that you categorically have to put Islam before anything else? That includes your wife, your kids, and definitely a country that is not even your country, which is inherently, constitutionally, a religion that is the complete opposite of what it is that you stand for. So Sadiq Khan is in charge of our police. Do you know that police chiefs visit mosques to get trained on how to deal with Muslims? Let that land. Did you know that the head of education for the United Kingdom, well, definitely for England, I'm pretty sure it's the UK, definitely for England, is a fully fledged Muslim? I stand by what I said. When it comes to the laws of our country, there should be no other religious representative involved. Especially when that individual, their particular religion, they have to put in front of the laws of the country anyway. That's not a reach. That's not me spreading hate. No, ask a Muslim. If you know a Muslim, a friend, just ask him. When it comes to your religion, do you have to put it before the country? If they know their Quran, then they have to say yes. You know that every Muslim, once they become Muslim, what they're subscribing to is what is called the caliphate. And what the caliphate is this picture in their minds that and this is the way I think this is pretty much verbatim. Every house shall have Allah in it. So their mission, once you become a Muslim, is that everyone is to become a Muslim. Everyone. And we've covered this before. Yeah, and if you don't, If it sounds like a stretch, said this many times, my wife is Iranian. My wife got smuggled out of Iran when she was 7 by her parents, thank God, my mother and father-in-law, because my mother-in-law knew that when that Islamic regime was enforced into Iran, after the first 4 or 5 years of, the 7 years of my wife's life, the first 7 years, but after about the 4 years of living through that regime, my mother-in-law made a decision that she didn't want her daughter being married off at 7, 8, 9 years old to a 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old man. I've lived the experience through my wife. I wouldn't have known, I wouldn't have cared, if I'm being honest, but of course she was my wife. I've been with her now for 17 years this year. I've seen what Islam, what is going on in our country. And again, so if you look at Iran, you might think, nah, that could never happen to the UK. It's already happening. There are, you go online, you will find so many videos, examples of where Islamists that are all masked up, all ballied up, that are marching through our streets, that are getting big crowds together and chanting basically Sharia law for the UK. They want Sharia law too, and they're pushing for it. They already have Sharia law courts in the UK. If the balance gets tipped and Sharia law comes in, all of those courts that are currently passive at the moment, they're dormant. They're used for Islamic purposes, but not for outside of the regime, of the religion. It is a regime. It's not even religion. It's a fucking cult. It's a cancer. It's not, they're not used for that. But as soon as it gets tipped, this is what happened in Iran. Do you know, this is conservative, over 40 years, definitely over 40 years. So every single day, over 40 years in Iran, in Tehran. So Tehran is like London. I've been there. Right? It's a proper, massive city, proper city. Imagine in London, right in the middle of, let's say, Buckingham Palace, because it often happens outside one of the biggest mosques in Tehran, where they do the big prayer meeting. So for 40 years, every morning, the prayer starts, which echoes, I heard it when I was there, echoes across Tehran. And as their prayer is going, they are using huge industrial cranes to hang young men and women. And the crimes of these young men and women, so that's happened every day for 40 years. We're talking thousands upon thousands upon thousands have been murdered by murdered by the regime under Islam, under Sharia law. Because in Sharia law, what you can be killed for, especially as a woman, you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe. If you look at countries, Egypt used to be a Christian country. If you looked at Syria used to be a Christian country, Lebanon. Islam has come into these countries and completely ruined them. How do we know? Well, think about it. If these countries, Somalia, all these other countries, if they were such happy Islamic states, why are they all coming across hundreds and hundreds of miles to eventually get inside rubber dinghies and chance coming across an ocean to get into our country if their country and their religion was so fucking shit up? Why would you do that? It's got to be a reason. As soon as you start scratching the surface of Islam, you'll be appalled. You won't be able to get your head round Right, let's just make sure I don't want to lose track of, sorry. The reform right hand man to Farage is, yep, 100%. He's got a couple of, he's got a woman in there as well. I've got a bloody name. So biologic, if we replace these people with Christian, you're not listening. Edmund, you're not listening, mate. So by your logic, if we replaced all English people straight away, that ain't my logic. That ain't my logic. My message, maybe, Edmund, just to make sure as a disclaimer so we can define terms. Maybe we'll agree on this or we won't agree. It's quite simple. My message is simple. I'm looking at England at the minute and I'm seeing basically an attack, a discriminative, racially driven attack on people that are my colour. More than any other colour, it seems. So much so that it's, I mean, it's, you know, what happened to Henry Novak? There's a prime example. That's like an icing on the cake. What happened to Lucy? Oh, what was it? It wasn't Lucy Lowe. Lucy, who got the white middle class white English mum that got banged up for 1.5 years for a tweet, yeah, because she was white. What I'm seeing, Edmund, that my logic is simple. Right now, everyone that claims to be a true British or English person, regardless of what colour you are, you can see what's going on. It's wrong. In my opinion, all them wonderful immigrants that I grew up with, that all their families assimilated, very love England, love everything about our culture, probably more patriotic to the royals than I am. A lot of especially the Indians growing up that I was around, more patriotic than definitely I was to the royal family. What I'm saying is they should be standing with us. And they are, in many cases. We should be standing together against this because what we're up against is not political. It's been politicized because Islam has been politicized. Labour is an Islamist government. Conservatives were run by Islamist money. Yeah, the Greens, now an Islamic party. Nigel Farage, not being funny, why have you got so many Muslims within your party? I stand by it. In the UK, if you are of a religion that is not constitutionally in line with the UK's fucking religion, which is Christianity, whether we like it or not, that's what it is. If you're not in line with that, if you've got some other ideology, some other theory, some other belief, you shouldn't be in a position of power because it completely contradicts. You're straight away at conflict within yourself. So, no, I don't want English people replaced with Christian Pakistanis speaking King English and queuing properly. No, you missed the point totally, mate. Honestly, completely missed the point. Especially when that religion calls for the death of the people from the country. Yep, 100%. What about the J? Do you have any idea how incompatible that religion is? What about the J? What about the J? I don't know what you mean, Edmund. Race is culture and culture is race. Jonathan Bowden, don't get led astray by that security services asset. Tommy, race is culture and culture is race. Trying to think if I agree with that. I think to an extent, but there's plenty that doesn't hold true across the board. It definitely doesn't hold true across the board. Who is better, far right Tommy Robinson or Nigel Farage? I'll take your shout out to Danish Iqbal. I'd take Tommy Robinson over Nigel Farage all day long. All day long. You're saying it's about culture, not race. I'm saying culture is race and race is culture. It's not. because I grew up with, and I've got my experiences. So it's not in a book. I'm not telling you something that I learned in a book or I've got an opinion on. I've got mates that are as Britishly cultured as me. They ain't the same color as me, but they are as British ingrained culturally as I am. But racially, they're different. And obviously, you've got mixed race people as well. So yeah, no, I don't agree with that. They can love England all they like. They're not English. It's an immutable characteristic. Yeah, I'm not saying they can be English. English is an ethnicity. I get that. Like, just like Chinese, Japanese, there is, like you said earlier, there is an element to that, 100%. And there should be nothing, there should be no fear in being able to say, yeah, I'm white English. I don't think you can be black English. You can be black British, but you can't be black English, as far as I know, because like you said, I've always had it down as an ethnicity. So yeah, I think I agree with you there. Jews. So what was that again with the, what about the Jew? Do you have any idea how incompatible that religion is with Christian? Okay, fine. But I'm not hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not hearing, not in our country anyway, of any Jews that are going out stabbing people, trying to behead people, blowing up themselves, or at concerts. Someone's just scored. I can hear someone celebrating. Someone must have just scored. So to be honest, Edmund, I haven't got a problem with anyone's religious beliefs if they keep it to themselves. It's when it starts being enforced onto other people, I've got a massive problem with that, huge problem. And at the moment, it's Islam. It's not just in the UK. It's fucking everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. And like I said, the thing is, you just got to do a little bit of digging. I've read the Quran. I'm on my way going through it again at the moment. I've got a good understanding of the hadiths, what are classed as the strong and weak hadiths, and people like Bukhari, who are seen as if they say it, then as good as the Prophet saying it. So my point is, I'm not coming at this with just because I've just heard about Islam, I'm just going fucking Muslim. No, I'm coming here as from a perspective of, hold on, do you know why this is so dangerous? Is because people like that guy, that scumbag in Belfast, he actually thinks that by killing a kuffar, which you kill a Christian or a Jew in Islam, that is, that's top points. He's entitled to 72 virgins when he gets to what do they call it, Jannah? Is it Jannah, Blakey? Is it Jannah? He's entitled to 72. This is why it's dangerous, is they get indoctrinated with a religion that they don't even understand. Do you know how many young Muslims, you ask them, can you speak Arabic? And they'll say, I can speak it. Can you read it? Nope. Can you understand it? Nope. But they're taught to chant. They're taught to chant. I remember my mum, shout out to my mum, she was coming over to see me, and she knows what to talk about. She's coming over to see me, and a taxi driver picked her up. He was Iraqi, and they got talking, and religion came up, and he said, the taxi driver said, I hate religion. And Mum said, what religion was you? He said, I was a Muslim, but I'm no longer. Like, I pulled away from the faith. And he started telling Mum, he said, for the first 10 years of my life, every single morning I was told to get up and just chant, recite. He said, I had no idea what I was saying. It was only when I grew up and then I started having a look at what it was I was reciting, what it was I was chanting, and it changed everything. Islam is a religion of war. It's not, they call it the religion of peace. It is anything but the religion of peace. As I said, okay, I've said this before, just so we've got an easy comparison. Christianity the Bible, Islam, the Quran, right? The overwhelming outcome, like as in what is being driven by the Bible, is people accept Jesus Christ to go to heaven. Yeah, that's it. In Islam, the overwhelming drive is to take over the whole world and make the whole world Islamic. That is, and it's called the caliphate. That is literally what it is, that their whole mission is to achieve. And to do it, as we all know, we've all heard the term jihad is. What is jihad? Jihad is holy war. Jihad is in the name of Allah. Allah Akbar, cut your head off. Do you know why as well it's cutting your head off is the go-to? Is because you get extra points. It says in the Quran multiple times about striking the neck. You decapitate someone, you get, and you screaming Allah Akbar in God's name as you're doing it. You get extra brownie points. Nigel Farage can't be trusted yet. Tommy says it is. Yeah, for me, Tommy's a normal person. Like that's what I like about Tommy Danish. And you're bang on, mate. He says it how it is. He doesn't try and tie it up. Doesn't try to sound clever. He just is authentic. He's himself. Something that most politicians can't get to. Yeah, he means Jews when he said, "Yeah, nice one, Blakey. Appreciate that, mate." And Blakey, of course, you can step in at any point. Restore is mate. Tell you what, we need something. Culture isn't race. Yeah, it's not, is it? I thought, yeah, I had to think about it, but it's not. Higher culture is. Don't know what you mean by that. I live close to Jewish area. They keep themselves to themselves. Yeah. Listen, I've got no problems with Muslims that just keep themselves to themselves. I've got no problem with that at all. It's only when you start running up and down our streets, screaming for Sharia law, whilst you're doing your fast, you start filming us and having to go at us for eating just because you're fasting. Like, and so many other diabolical piss takes, just complete piss takes. That's when it becomes a problem. That's when it becomes a problem. When we're talking Jays, what Jays are you talking about? I mean, Ashkenazi, Orthodox, Messianic, all are different. Go on, Blakey. Jews brought the Muslims you oppose here in the first place, looking to infiltrate by Barbarians, also called multiculturalism is Jewish. Culture are different things, brother. What Jay's Edmund? Organized Jewry. Interesting. These two. Blakey, I know Blakey knows his stuff. Every race and religion has good and bad. It's just, yeah, that's the truth. Every race and religion has good and bad because we're all human beings. It's just Islam. I'm saying this to my missus. The problem is at the minute, it's just Islam that is trying to fucking take over of you. It's simple as that. What's the problem with Islam at the minute? It's trying to take over. And no religion has the right to try and take over because the religion is a belief by a human. And no human has a right, some God-given right, to enforce their fucking ideologies onto another person. It's retarded. Absolutely retarded to suggest it. Coin clipping. The Quran has so many contradictions. Most of its book is based on this is, do you know what? And this is what's called the Islamic dilemma. So in the Quran, you've got chapter 10, verse 94, where Allah is speaking to Prophet Momo, the pedo, and he says, if you're in doubt, so Allah is speaking directly to Prophet Muhammad. Yeah. If you're in doubt, go and speak to those who have read the scriptures before you. Now, the scriptures before, so the Quran is seen as the final revelation. The scriptures before is the Torah, which is the Jewish book, the Injil, Psalms, and then the Quran comes. And the Quran is seen as the confirmation of the previous 3 books if it lines up with the previous 3 books. This is a fact. The Quran needs the Torah, the Injil, and the Psalms because they are the standard of truth that multiple times in the Quran, Allah says to Muhammad, go and check, basically, go and check with the Christians, go and check with the Jews, multiple times. So yes, Sonny, you're bang on. It's based on the Bible. Well, it's based on Abrahamic faiths, but the truth is Muhammad was a kid that was being taken all over different parts of the world where there were so many different religions by his uncle, who was a traveling salesman, a caravan man, that he just picked up all these different religions. And this is the thing, that's why I refer to the hadiths. If you're aware of some of the fucking stuff that is claimed in Islam to be from God, and I'm talking stuff that it's like carry on up the Kaaba shit. Do you hear it? You go, nah, Jay, have I got any of it here? Hold on a minute. Let's have a look. Yeah, here's one. There's so many of these. Am I still on camera? Right, hold on. Right, so this is from Sahih Muslim. Now, Sahih Muslim it's like a Bukhari. Like, so this this is a hadith, yeah, and this is a hadith about adult breastfeeding. Yeah, you heard it right. And it is hadith 1453. There's thousands of these hadiths, by the way. Okay. The Prophet said to Salah's a woman, she's only a young woman, breastfeed him and he will become unlawful to you. Suckle him 5 times. In the book of marriage, Kitab al-Nikah, Hadith 2061, Abu Dawood narrates, the Messenger of Allah said, breastfeed him 5 times. Now you might be thinking, that's a bit random. This is the thing. If you get your head into any of these hadiths, you will find the most random shit that is just perverse. That's perverse. That is a full-grown man pretending that God is telling him to tell this young girl to breastfeed, to suckle a full-grown man 5 times. Do you know there's other hadiths that talk about how when the Prophet Muhammad would ejaculate on the clothes of the young girls, that they wasn't to wash these clothes? There's other hadiths where they're told to collect the sweat of Prophet Muhammad, and if they drink it, it gives them powers. And yeah, there's another hadith about the mole on his back and how it's again to be kissed. And fuck you. Do you know there's a hadith? And bear in mind, these are supposed to be revelations from God. Yeah. So far, these things I've said, the couple of them I've given you the quotes for, you can go check them out. There's a hadith where basically people came to see Muhammad at his house, guests. They all had a big munch. Yeah. And this is all recorded, because Prophet Muhammad didn't want to seem rude because he didn't want them there anymore. He said that God spoke to him. God spoke to him and for him to tell his guests that they were to leave and to not ask him any questions about leaving. They should just leave. Like he made up hadith basically to tell people when to fuck off. You've overstayed your welcome. But he made up as a hadith. Like there are so many of these. I can't explain how fucked up this religion is when you look into it. I've said it many times. It's like a religion that a group of dirty paedophilic men got together and went, right, let's just create something for our perverse, depraved desires. Kids, fair game. Women, second-class citizens. We can have 4 wives. We can have as many underage, enslaved, white, kafar girls as we like, which is why you're seeing all the grooming gangs and all the rest of it. They don't care about that because they actually believe in a religion that caters for that. That's the fucking problem. That is the problem. It's not seen as wrong. It's seen as accepted. Edwin, you don't know what you're talking about. Do you know the Edomites? It means red. They are enemies of the Jews. Do you think the Rothschilds are Jewish? They're not. Translate Rothschild. Yes, Tommy struts around with the IDG in a Star of David t-shirt. Hello, 2 up. I'm going to wrap this up soon. It's come up to 1 o'clock in the morning. Translate Rothschild from German to English. It's Red Shield. The Rothschilds are Edomite Ishmael. Go on, Blakey. Blakey knows his stuff. Tommy authentic. He is authentic. You say what you want. He's definitely authentic. I know. Oh my God, it's a pissing contest. Okay, Edmund, well done. Well done, Blakey. Edmund is not that sort of party, mate. I know more than you. I know more than you. It's not that here. We don't do that here. We share stuff here. Have Tommy Wilson have his own party. Listen, each to their own. People like Trump, people hate Trump. People like Tommy, people hate Tommy. I look at actions more than anything else because we don't know exactly what goes on behind the scenes, but what we do get portrayed in front of us, what we can actually see with our own eyes, we can hear with our own ears. I, as much as possible, try to make my judgment calls on that. I don't claim to know it all, but I definitely am more interested in actions rather than words. They say only God can judge and Jesus is a prophet, yet it also says on the day of judgment, yeah, 100%, Sonny. He's actually, he is the Messiah of Islam. Jesus is, this is what I mean. They fucked up the story. So if you get a grasp of the story of Islam, it's literally like someone's tried to, right, let's remember the story. Right, that bit happened. Born to a virgin, yeah, I remember that bit. He comes back at the end of days, but then inserts himself into the big dog, as in Momo, prophet pedo, marries a girl at 6, consummates marriage at 9, pedo. Yeah, he writes himself in. Well, he doesn't write because he's illiterate. He's fucking illiterate. He can't read or write. So we've also got to rely on the fact that he narrated this whole fucking book, yeah, after getting possessed in a cave by what his missus, not him, his missus claimed was the angel Gabriel. He thought he got possessed. He come out of there shitting himself, shaken. Yet when you hear of any stories of God revealing himself in the Bible, it's peace, I felt love, it was light, blah, blah, blah. Muhammad thought he was getting possessed. There's so much about it that's fucked up. Muhammad was approached by an angel in the cave and was illiterate. How can he be the final messenger? No. Europe isn't going to be the monolithic societies that they were in the last century. Jews are going to be at the center of that. It's a huge transformation for you. But Barbara Lerner Spectra, I have to look at her. You're quoting her a lot. Europe is now going to be a multicultural. Really well. This Barbara Lerner, you're definitely a fan of her, aren't you, mate? Edmund, mate, you've fallen for a big deception regarding the Jews, buddy. I see why you think what you think, but I promise you're wrong. Huge skullduggery. Get your head into the Talmud, son. You'll find perverse shit there too. You'll find perverse shit everywhere. Everywhere. It is sad that Lubna got attacked in her own. She had to leave. Yeah, Lubna, what a brave woman she is. From a coked up twat that the UK security services allow on a stage in the middle of London. Do me a favour. All right, and you've made your mind up, haven't you? You've made your mind up, Edmund. Thoughts on the Frankfurt School? Muhammad never met Jesus, so how? Yeah, again, never met him. Never met him. Nice to meet someone who knows about the Quran, yet we will get called a racist. This is the thing, though, isn't it? I've had to point out to people I've spoken to before about this. Is when people say that, I say, can we just then please define what is the meaning of the word racist? And as soon as you actually look at the meaning, it specifically can only be used in reference to color. And the last time I checked, Islam is not a color. Islam is an ideology. It is a cancer that's spreading throughout our schooling system. It's getting into our churches. It's taken over our politics. They're taking our parks. They are literally infesting our country. But the truth is, people, we still have the numbers. This is where voting does actually count. And I am 100% voting, which is something I've never done. Never done. I've been ignorant to it. A lot of people have. But we need to get a stronghold back in our country. We've got to go back to its Christian values. I'm not Christian. I'm not claiming that. But the values of what I grew up with, singing the hymns in school, going to church on a Sunday, like, I can see why we've gone so far into where we've gone, because we've stepped away from actually what was an okay upbringing for most of us. We all got brought up with these values. And it wasn't, I don't remember, other than my dad forcing Christianity onto me. Once I became an adult, I didn't ever feel that I'm living in England, I need to be a Christian. There's some force. But all of a sudden, there's this new group with a different ideology, and they're telling us that we need to become what they are. We need to be governed Sharia law under their fucking religious law. Unreal. No, that shit's got to stop. Got to stop. Step over it. I'm racist. Why would anyone not preference their own? My own is in all different colours, mate. My own, my closest own are not even white. So, yeah, I'm not with you on that one, mate. Jay, have you a link so I can... Yeah, bro. Okay. And then I'll call it. Racist get branded about so much now. Yeah, it's the thing. I ain't racist. I have no judgment at all on colour. None whatsoever. Hey, Dale. Thanks, mate. That's very kind of you. Love to you and yours. Blakey, yeah, let me send you this. Right. Thanks, Dale. It's very kind of you, mate. Love to everyone in chat as well. Love to everyone who turns up for these. Right, Blakey, I've sent it to you, my friend. So we'll wait for Blakey to come on. Blakey, where are you, Blakey? Clever geezer, Blakey. Really nice. Again, someone I met through the channel. Proper West Ham, proper nice geezer. Again, just so that it's being spoken about. It is, mate. It is, Wally. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. The only reason I'm still here is because Blakey just said he was going to jump on. Blakey, where you gone? I'm gonna have to call it, mate. I'm getting tired. Right, I think Blakey might have. You there, Scott? Hello, mate.
How you doing? Right, race and culture are a different thing.
Hello, mate. Can you hear me, Blakey?
Can you hear me, Jay?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, can you hear me?
Right, race and culture are different things. For Edmund, I would take, put it this way, mate. If there was a Pakistani Christian and you as a racist having a scrap, I would jump on the Christian side straight away, because ethically, mate, you are a wrong'un. You are literally a wrong'un. Secondly, when you look into if you've studied, mate, you'd see that there's the Edomites. The Edomites were against God's people. They were Jews, or they pretended to be Jews. You'll see in the Bible at the end in Revelation, it speaks about the Jews that aren't Jews and the deception. That deception is massive. Ask yourself if the Jews are behind it and the enemies of the Jews are, well, it's Islam, it's the Muslims. In their scriptures, it says, "O servant of Allah," and this is the end days, "O servant of Allah," the trees and the rocks, this is the trees and the rocks speaking, all right? "O servant of Allah, there is a Jew hiding behind me, come and kill it." Now, you tell me, why would the Jews want the Muslims to come over to the UK? Why would they want them to take over and for us to have Sharia law? They wouldn't. Follow your thinking through instead of just quoting some woman out of a book. All right? Because what we see, the Edomites, Edom, these are the enemies of God. Edomites means red. All right? Now, who is it who's at the top? Who is it that we all turn to and point the finger at with all the shit and skullduggery that goes on? The Rothschilds, the banking system, so on and so forth. Who are the Rothschilds? The Rothschilds are Edomites. Edom, red. Rothschild, red shield. All right? This is a fact, bro. This is why you've got Islam coming. They're Ishmaelites. This is why you've got Islam coming in at the rate it is. Those people at the top, the elites, are blooming. They're Islamic. They're hiding behind a facade, which is as Islam. This is why we're seeing exactly what it is that we're seeing. Quote your lady out your book. Fine. Do what you want. But if it doesn't back up with what we're seeing in the world, then there's a problem with your logic. And I see a huge problem with your logic. It's not backed up by anything except some woman, and I'm not being funny, mate, your racist comments, they're sick. It is literally sick. I'll take anyone with ethics and morals over a racist. All right? And Christian ethics and morals are perfect. There's nothing wrong with them. The problem that we've got in this country is Islam is promoting, it feeds bad morals, bad ethics. Taking little children and doing what you want with little children, one of them. Second of them, Surah 434, about correcting your wife. Wrong. Unalive the Jews and the Christians. Wrong. On every bloody level, Islam has brought nothing but hate, violence, and a disgrace to humanity. I don't know, seriously, I don't know what you're thinking. And they're pointing at the Jays. This is all the way through. The Jays have got such a bad rap. Such a bad rap. You go out to Pakistan and you'll see them selling photos, postcards, calendars with Adolf bloody Hitler on it. Oh, this is happening on the streets. He's an icon. He's an idol. Well, you need to give your head a wobble, Edmund. Seriously, mate. Go away and learn instead of just having this blatant, mate. You're seeing one direction. You haven't researched. You haven't gone into history. You don't know history. All you're doing is you're quoting from what they're showing you, and they're going to show you a certain thing so that you are against a certain race. What we saw in Bondi Beach, did you see one Islamic person come up and say that is disgraceful, that's disgusting? No, you didn't. What did you see? You saw Islamic people coming up, Muslims, saying it's Mossad, blaming the Jews for killing Jews. This is all you see. You see deflection. They give nothing, absolutely nothing. They can't take responsibility for what they do. What we saw with that guy in Belfast. Have you seen one person, one Muslim, come up and condemn that? No, because that's what they're supposed to bloody do. And if you've got white skin, mate, you're classed as a Christian. That's what they're going to do to you. Sorry, Jay, I had to come up. I had to say it.
No, mate. Again, always good to listen to you.
Mate.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm with you. I'm with you, mate. No, please don't apologise. Thanks for coming on as always and articulating yourself. I've learned in the time that I've known you, so much I've picked up from the stuff you shared with me. So thanks for coming on and taking the time. And whether people listen to you or not, it's your truth, and it lands with me anyway. So whether or not other people choose to, because it's that whole you can lead a horse to water. that's as far as it goes. Now, comments in regards to race, I just think that it's interesting because on one hand you want to quote academia. You almost want to promote how clever you are. But then on the other hand, for me, the lowest form of intelligence you can ever demonstrate is to be racist. I think that is as low as you can get in regards to general human intelligence, which is a lot more powerful than any fucking book you can read.
Spot on.
So, yeah. Sorry, go on, mate.
It's morals at the end of the day, Jay. It's having morals. I don't care what colour a person is. If they're ethically and morally correct, beautiful, a brother in humanity. A border doesn't separate us. You know what I mean? I don't care. What I care about is a person's morals. And when you've got something like Islam, which promotes and breeds bad morals, that's what we should be up. That's what we are up against, and this is what we should be against. I don't care if they're black, yellow, white, green. If they're decent people, if they're loving people, it doesn't matter to me, and it shouldn't matter to anyone. To differentiate a person because of the colour of their skin, you need to wobble your head, man. You really need to wobble your head out of order. Some of the best people I've met, black people, absolutely incredible people. Love them to bits, brothers, as far as I'm concerned. But then obviously you get bad people of all sorts. I just don't understand that sort of because you're a certain colour. That's like BLM on the other foot, During that BLM thing, I see it was just after. It's about 2 days after. I saw it on television once. Some guy outside, white guy, was washing his wheels on his car, shining his rims up. He was so proud of his motor. You could see he had his sponge and all that lot. Some black guy walks past him, turns around, pulls a gun out his back pocket, and then puts a bullet through his head. Why? Because he was white. All right. So that's racism. That's wrong. That's wrong on any level. That's like a white person doing it to a black person because of the colour of their skin. It's wrong. What's right is ethics, loving each other, being kind to each other, helping each other. Yeah, making sure that everyone's children are all right and everyone's children are taken care of. It's right. Don't discriminate because of the colour of a person. It's absolutely moronic. Jay, I'm sorry, I rattle on. Once I get going, mate, I can't.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm going to log off now anyway, Blakey. Yeah, so I'll speak to you tomorrow on WhatsApp anyway. So thanks for coming on. Thank you also, Edmund, for being here along with everybody else. All opinions are listened to here and they'll be challenged. If anyone here says anything blatantly racist or use a racist term, I'm just going back through the comments now, that you will get blocked for that, because that I won't. I can, anything can be said about me. If you go at anyone else in chat or if you say anything racist, you'll never be invited back on. So I'm just going back through now to see if there was any. Step over it. I'm racist. I don't think anything else was said to do with someone's color. But anyway, Blakey, nice one. Yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah, I hear you, Edmund. I'll be honest with you, mate. I'm fucking knackered. If I had more time, I'd love to listen to Blakey and you actually go backwards and forwards on the debate. Would be great. But for now, I'm going to end this. Blakey, love you and Karen, bruv. Have a good one. Everyone else, please just be aware of this thing called Islam, because it is so much more relevant than just a religion that you've heard about or a little bit now more aware of, because you're seeing what's going on with this so-called religion. It's much bigger than that. And just a little bit of research into what it is will equip you in regards to how to deal with it when these conversations come up. Because otherwise what happens is, as we know, someone just turns around and goes, you're racist. If you look like me, for example, you start talking about Islam, apparently you're racist straight away. So thank you everyone for being here. I mean that. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
King Charles, where are you? Your people are shouting, crying, begging for help, and yet you stand silent while this country is torn apart. What good is a crown if it doesn't defend the nation? What good is a king if he will not stand with his people? This land is not theirs to destroy. It belongs to the people, the workers, the mothers, the fathers, the veterans, the builders, the farmers. We carried this island through wars, through hardship, through centuries of struggle, and we will not watch it be handed away by weak men in suits. Your duty is not to them, Charles. It is to us, to Britain, to the very soul of this nation. If you will not rise, if you will not speak, then you will show the people that the crown has become nothing but decoration. So hear us now. Your people demand action. We demand a king who protects his country. Britain is calling, Charles. Answer, or history will remember your silence.